one thing that needs to be mentioned about Ayn Rand is that she wrote much of her work, much of her novel. She wrote her novels in a genre called romantic realism. Some people have pointed out that certain things aren't completely realistic. Well, they're not meant to be completely realistic. Her characters are deliberately kind of larger than life because they are meant to kind of represent points. And in The Fountainhead, originally titled Secondhand Lives, it was the characters represent various ways that people can go in life. And most of them represent ways that people, kind of the bad ways people can go in life. And Howard Rourke represents the good way people can go in life. And Dominique Franklin, who becomes Mrs. Howard Rourke at the end of the novel, represents the bad way at the first, but then kind of converts to the good way by the end of it. And now, in order to make her point, she does have to distort things. You can't really take things completely literally. At the time that she's writing, she has Howard Rourke as a modernist architect, and he's kind of at war with a very old-fashioned architecture establishment that really doesn't have any room for originality or creativity, and that basically doesn't want modern architecture. Well, actually, at the time period that the novel is set in, modern architects did very well. Frank Lloyd Wright, Lee Corbusier, those modern architects, they were quite hot. And they were not persecuted or ignored by the architectural establishment. But she had to distort the history in order to make the point about, the individual sticking to their guns and being true to their vision. Okay? Now, another thing about that has been pointed out is Howard Rourke agrees to design a building. Okay, allow someone else to get credit for it and get the fees for it. But his fee, his price, his payment is that it will be built exactly as he wanted it built. And guess what? It's not built exactly as he wanted it built. They put some doodads and gewgaws that he didn't want in there. And he blows up the building. Now, technically speaking, even by an objectivist ethics, what he did was not really justifiable, because he's not just blowing up his own work. He's blowing up the work of other people as well. A building is not just the work of the architect, unlike a painting or a novel or a poem or a sculpture. It's a collaborative effort. And, the electrician put in their work, the plumbers put in their work, various other people put in their work, and he destroyed all that when he destroyed the building. So, literally, it's not ethically justifiable. The thing about it is, again, it's romantic realism. She gets it in there in order to get her philosophy across in the trial, to make her point about individualism, and about people being paid for their work. So again, you have to allow a certain amount of leeway for the fact that the book is not completely realistic. It is romantic realism. Of course, one thing that troubles a lot of people also is what's generally referred to as the rape scene. The first sex scene between Howard Rourke and Dominique Francone is referred to as the rape scene. Now, Phyllis Schlafly got to this scene in the novel and stopped reading the novel. It's kind of sad, but two of the women who had probably, between the two of them, they had more influence on conservatism than any other women in the country. And one of them stopped reading the seminal work of the other one because she didn't like that scene.